The left has been telling you for years what you can eat, what you should say, and now how you should feel. Take a listen to Michelle Obama.
Yes, I do, because we feel the difference now.
Yeah.
See, now we're feeling what not having hope feels like. You know, hope is necessary. It's a necessary concept. What else do you have if you don't have hope?
Really? This from a woman who in 2008, at 44 years old, said for the first time in her life she was proud of her country when her husband was running for president. And now, 8 years later, you're out of hope, Michelle? You've lived a life few can even imagine, at the citadel of power and prestige in the world. You and your husband, blessed by God and the American people with the unique and historic opportunity to not only lead America from that shining place on a hill, but impact Americans and give them hope that virtually no others can. And now that you're leaving, hope is gone? Since when does hope rise and fall with you and Barack in the White House? But it doesn't end there. When asked if your husband's administration achieved his promise of hope to Americans, your answer, a resounding yes. Quote, especially in times of crisis and turmoil. Are you kidding? Did your husband give hope to the parents of James Foley or Stephen Sotloff, who was in custody for over a year while his family was told they could not negotiate because they'd be prosecuted before their sons' heads were chopped off? To try to convince America that once you and Barack exit the White House, hope is removed for America is an outrage. And I'll tell you what else is an outrage. An outrage is when your husband struts up to the microphone at a national prayer breakfast and tells Christians to get off their high horses because the Christians are afraid of Muslim terrorists cutting their heads off. And I'd say that that was a crisis, but no hope there. ISIS today only looms larger. And by the way, Michelle, have you heard of San Bernardino, Orlando, or that workplace violence that happened at Fort Hood in Texas? In times of crisis and turmoil, like the 13 hours those heroes were on a rooftop in Benghazi, your all-powerful husband never bothered to explain to us where he was and what he was doing that night. All we know is the only power that he was ready to unleash was Air Force One to fly to Las Vegas for a fundraiser the next morning so that you guys could live the life another 4 years in the White House. But I get it. For you, hope is gone. You and your family and friends won't be able to fly to another 46 countries with security and hair and makeup in tow. Michelle, you may not realize it, but Americans rejected you and everything you stand for. They know what hope is. Hope is when people, 30,000 at a time, stand in line in the cold with their children, hoping to get the glimpse of a man that they think can change the course of their lives from the downward spiral that you and Mr. Hope and Change have put them on. I'll tell you what hope and change is. Hope and change is when people show up 20,000 strong after an election, desperate to see the man who actually brought back jobs, almost 1,000, when your husband said it was impossible to bring them back at Carrier. And by the way, if you want to know what it really feels like to not have hope, just walk out of the White House. As ordinary Americans, you'll see real fast. Welcome to the America you created, the one with a racial divide, a disrespect of law enforcement and the military, illegals cruising our borders, draining our schools and social services, ISIS and refugees on the rise. No hope? Michelle, I'm surprised at you. What happened to when they go low, we go high? And that's my opening statement. Tell me what you think on my Facebook page or Twitter. Hashtag Judge Jeanine. And joining me now with a reaction, RNC Chief Strategist and Senior Communications Advisor to the Presidential Transition Team, Sean Spicer, also reportedly the leading candidate to become President-elect Trump's press secretary. Sean Spicer, thanks for being here. Can you tell us anything, any secrets?
I cannot tell you any secrets, Judge, but Merry Christmas. Thank you for having me.
Merry Christmas. You look like you could be a press secretary.
Well, thank you. As I've said before, I'd be honored to do anything I can to help this president-elect advance his agenda in Washington, because he's going to bring real change to the American people. And if you look at what he's done already, whether it was Carrier or the cabinet that he's putting together, it's unbelievable. And you know him. And I think that you know that on January 20th, it's going to start with a bang.
Oh, wow.
He's going to get things done right off the bat.
You know, Sean, what's so amazing is that, I mean, the man hasn't stopped since he won election night. I mean, I don't think Americans have ever seen anyone like this. I mean, he's going state to state to thank people, and Americans are reacting and responding. But I want to get to some of the fascinating stuff that has been happening in the last 48 hours. You heard my open, Michelle Obama. I mean, talk about class or lack thereof to say hope is gone when she and Barack leave the White House. I mean, isn't that a slap at the incoming president?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. I think what I would actually phrase it as, change is coming. Business as usual is over. And I think for a lot of folks in the political class and the pundit class, what they're about to witness is going to be unbelievably historic in a way that no one's ever seen before. He is going to bring real change to this city. He's going to bring a record of success that is going to just shock the system throughout its core. And what I mean by that is that he doesn't take no for an answer. He picks up the phone. He gets things done. He doesn't take no for an answer. He figures out, how do I get to yes? How do I get to success? And who do I surround myself to get there with? The people that he's choosing for his cabinet are an unbelievable level of caliber that this country has never seen before. Position by position, department by department, the people that are taking these jobs. You look at a guy like Rex Tillerson, rags to riches, 8 years old, starts working to help the family.
Sean, there's going to be a lot of trouble there. A lot of talk about pushback, and not only pushback to Tillerson, but you've got Hollywood now, and Michael Moore saying that Trump shouldn't even be admitted into the White House, and you've got Martin Sheen. You know, I guess he was in the West Wing on a TV show, so he thinks he knows all about it. You know, they're taking out these PSA, these ads saying, everybody, we've got to stop Trump from coming into the White House. Who are these people?
The interesting thing about this, Judge, is that they don't understand what's going on in this country. It was the same people who predicted a coronation for Hillary Clinton, who planned a fireworks celebration on the Hudson River. They don't get it. The American people are tired of business as usual, and Donald Trump's bringing change like they've never seen before. The problem with Hollywood is that they don't get it. They don't understand the frustrations and concerns that average middle Americans feel right now, that they're living paycheck to paycheck, that their health care costs are going up, that a government's unresponsive and doesn't take care of the veterans that have gone and served this nation. Donald Trump gets it in a way that nobody's gotten before, and he's going to get things done in a way that no one's ever gotten before. I think it scares them. That's what the problem is that they've been used to coming in, Republican or Democrat, cozying up to the elites and sort of being able to go to their cocktail parties. That's not what Donald Trump wants. He wants to come in and make this country better. He wants every American to have a better life. And that's something that scares the people who have used to living off of Washington's business as usual.
As Hollywood and the New York elites and a lot of the East Coast elites, I should say, you know, take out these public service spots and you know, the campaign supposedly cost how much to try to stop Donald Trump and get these electorates, these electoral college people to change their vote, which isn't going to happen. I mean, why are they spending so much money now?
Well, they spent a lot during the campaign, and it didn't have an effect. So,
but it's not going to have an effect now. Are these people
it's not.
delirious?
It's not. But I think there's a bigger issue that I'm sort of, and I know a lot of times conservatives get hit with constantly bashing the media. But where are the stories about these Hollywood elites asking electors to flip? This is unbelievable. Donald Trump won. 2,600 counties in this country voted for him. 62 million people, 306 electoral votes, and they're taking out. They're spending, you know, almost $1 million right now trying to influence electors to switch.
Yeah.
That is just, it's unbelievable. And no one in the mainstream media is calling outrage on this. It's unbelievable.
But you know what, Sean, I think for the first time the American people get it, and they do because of Donald Trump. Sean
They do.
Spicer.
You're absolutely right.
Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Merry Christmas, Judge.
Merry Christmas.